This video shows how to install the DDM network tester software, which measures performance between two machines, usually in different countries or locations. The information this provides will enable us to recommend the best architecture to run DDM, specifically whether to use file or database replication. For this video I have two virtual machines set up. The red one represents the server machine and the green one represents the client machine. The same installer is used on both the server and the client. The first thing to note is you do not need to install the server component if DDM is installed already, and in fact the server installer will prevent you from doing this. I'm going to install the server component first. I have my installer here on the desktop. I'm going to right click and run it as administrator and click yes to say I'm okay to make the changes. I'll click next on the first window. Note that there are two components that we can install, a client or a server, and the client is selected by default, so I want to change that to the server installation. Click next on that. I'm going to accept the default installation location and click install. Note partway through the installer a different window pops up asking us for some defaults for the DDM components. I can accept all of the defaults on these components, so I'm just going to choose OK, next, accept the terms, next, next, and install. Nothing needs to change. The DDM network installer will then check all of the required components are installed, and this may take a few minutes to complete. We can then click Finish from the installer. We're then prompted to give us the name of the server that we've installed the component on. This is important. We need this host name here for the client installation. We're going to use DDM -test -server. Choose OK, the installation is completed, next, and finish. So the server aspect of this installation is now complete and we're ready to install the client side. I'm going to click on the client and I'm going to again run the same installer as an administrator. Click next. The default is client installation and I'm going to click next on the client installation. I'm going to accept the default destination folder, so I'm going to click install, and the configuration window pops up asking us for some 4 pieces of information in order to run the client test. The first and most important piece of information is the name of the server or the IP address of the server, which your network administrator can give you if you are unsure. We're okay to use the host name, which we was given in the server installation routine, DDM test server. The next piece of information is the customer name, which is used to identify the reports that are sent. So we will fill that in with some details. The third piece of information is the email address we want to send the report to. It has to be a csi-europe.com address, and we can fill it in with any valid csi-europe address. The final piece of information is the number of days we want this network testing routine to run. It's designed to run for a short period of time, 7 to 14 days, periodically checking the network connectivity to the server, and then to uninstall itself once it's finished running. So I'm going to leave the defaults to run at 7 days and to uninstall when finished. I'm now going to run a manual test which checks that the connectivity is working correctly to the server and the background routine will be able to run correctly. So if I click Run Manual Test, we can see that the test has run completely. It tells me some background information. I don't need to note that down, but it just gives us some information to indicate that the test has run. I can choose OK on that, and I can now click on Configure Auto Test, which runs the configuration routine and ensures that the routine is running in the background. The system will now, as previously stated, run regularly over a period of 7 days. Each day at around this time it will send you an email giving you the summary of the report so far. You can see an example of the report. This is also sent via the test routine to indicate that the test routine is run correctly. After a period of time, 7 days, when it's completed its running, we can see the details of the report. So up here we can see all of the details of the report number, when it's sent, and a summary of the information that's useful for us to establish the network performance between the two machines. We also in support have access to the detailed network information, so we can perform some more analysis if this report is not does not contain enough details. I can close this window now. I can finish the installer, and then once every day around this time I'll get an email showing me what the network performance is like.